All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to Mindset Monday. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today on this beautiful Monday. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. And as always, I want to start our day off by taking massive action. That action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, centering yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trusting your education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So, if everybody can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat and we will get things underway this morning. All right, perfect. Appreciate it. Give me 1 second here. All right. So today, today, the science of getting what you want. Listen, I don't know why I look foggy. Give me 1 second. All right, a little bit better. So, um, this morning, this morning. We're going to dive into the blueprint behind all success, right? The strategies that create your emotional state and how those emotional states create your results, all right? Have you ever wondered why some people stay stuck in stress while others lock in momentum and power, right? Or why two people with the same tools come from the same environment get radically different outcomes. Have you ever wondered that? Like the people that grow up in the same household, why why do they why do they have different outcomes? Like what happens in those experiences? The answer is they're running two different strategies. And more importantly, they're living in two different emotional homes, right? The fact is, any result you've produced more than once, you have a strategy for it. So today we're going to uncover what those strategies are, how to rewire them, and how to take full control of your emotional state so you can stop reacting and start designing your life like a master. So let's drop in. All right. Um, I want you to write this down and underline it. Write this down and underline it. Everything you feel, whether it's fear, flow, frustration, or fire, it's not random. Everything you feel, whether it's fear, flow, frustration, or fire, it's not random. It's not because It's not because Mercury retrograde or your boss sent a weird email. Every emotional pattern, I'm s- it's a pattern, right? It's not random, it's a pattern. Every emotional pattern is built on three ingredients. The triad of state we've talked about, right? So we want to go through each piece for review, right? And then we'll experience it together. So this isn't just head knowledge, right? But it starts to become muscle memory. Number one is physiology, right? Physiology, your body is the fastest lever, right? How you're sitting right now, how you're breathing right now, right? Are your shoulders back or are they slouched? Are you making yourself small or grounded and tall? Right? Your nervous system listens to posture more than it listens to logic. Right? Some Stanford research shows that the way you sit and breathe has more impact on your mood than the thoughts that you're thinking. Right? So you want to feel, if you want to feel unstoppable, don't wait to think differently. Move differently. Move with power, move with intention, move with ownership. You don't get energy, you generate it. Number two is focus and language, right? What you look at, you feel, right? So exercise, close your eyes real quick, right? Now focus on everything in your life that's going wrong. Focus on the things that are not going the way that you want. Everything's just going wrong. Like really, really go there. What's not working? How does your body feel? Like focus on the things that are not going right and go through them and listen to how you pay attention to how that makes your body feel, the changes that start to occur in your body. Now open your eyes. We're going to do this again. I want you to close your eyes. Focus on what you survived. This time, focus on what you survived, what you've overcome, what you're proud of. Focus on someone you love and how much they matter to you. See how the start to feel the changes in your body, start to feel the changes in your energy. Same moment, same world, totally different emotion. Same moment, same world, totally different emotion. Where focus goes, energy flows, right? The language you use determines what you focus on. The language you use determines where your focus lands, right? I'm overwhelmed. Your brain shuts down. It goes into fight or flight mode. I'm feeling pressure because I care. Your brain starts to find solutions, right? Your self-talk is the software for your performance, right? Your self-talk is the software for your performance. The third piece in this triad is meaning, right? What you want it to mean, what you make it mean makes it feel, right? Every emotion you experience comes from one thing, and it's the meaning you assign it. The meaning you assign it. You miss a sale, this means I suck. and you spiral, right? This means I'm learning. You find solutions, you build momentum. Two completely different views of the world, two completely different meanings for the same situation. Someone doesn't reply to your text message. This means I'm annoying them, or they're buried in work. Two completely different meanings for the same situation. It's never about the event. It's about the interpretation of the event, right? According to Harvard Neuroscience, meaning meaning making is the root of emotional experience. Your brain asks, what does this mean? And then your body responds accordingly, right? So we want to shift from theory to action and really understand what this means, right? So I want you to sit up tall, feet flat on the floor or ground if you're outside, right? Shoulders back. Deep breathe, breathe deep in through your nose and exhale out through your mouth. Eyes open, eyes up, not down. Own your space, right? Feet grounded, shoulders back, breathing in deeply, in through your nose, out through your mouth, right? Eyes up, not down, really owning your space, owning your area, right? And repeat this with full energy. I am grounded, I am powerful, I am clear. I am grounded, I am powerful, I am clear, right? Do you feel an energetic shift? Do you feel the energy starting to rise from your stomach, from your diaphragm up, right? So neurochemical shift, and all you did was change your body, your breathing, and your words, right? So let's recap this. You don't have depression, you do depression. It's a strategy. You don't have confidence, you generate confidence, right? Emotions are recipes, they're not random. If you change the recipe, you change the result. Physiology, the focus, the language, the meaning, right? The physiology, the focus, and language, the meaning. That's the triad. That's the formula. If you've been using it, and actually not if, but you've been using it, whether you know it or not. And the question is, are you going to keep consciously or unconsciously going in the same cycle, or are you going to start using it strategically? That's the question we have to answer, right? Your emotion, your emotional state is not a condition. It's a choice. It's a skill. And today, you have a new edge. Because when we master our state, we master our business, we master our mindset, we master our relationships, we master our lives. So now that you know how to shift your state, we're going to talk about how to rewire the habits and create it daily. All right. So let's go deeper. We talked about mastering our state. It's this part is about understanding the system behind the state, right? So let me define this for you so it makes sense. A strategy is a specific set of thoughts, feelings, movements, or actions that you run, usually unconsciously, that produce a predictable result. Strategy, right? Now, I want you to really let this land with you, right? You already have strategies for absolutely everything. You have a strategy for how you wake up. You have a strategy for how you get frustrated. You have a strategy for how you fall in love. You have a strategy for how you procrastinate. Yeah, how you motivate yourself. You have a strategy for it. Even how you sabotage your progress. You have a strategy for it. Here's the thing. Most of those strategies are unconscious. You don't even realize that you're repeating the same habits every single time you get a trigger, right? So the reason you feel stuck or inconsistent is because it's not even because you're unmotivated. It's because you're running strategies you don't even know that you're running, right? Classic example. Say you get say your get stress strategy looks like this. Shoulder slumped, your breathing gets shallow, you repeat in your mind, I'm behind. I'm behind. I'm behind. I'm behind. I'm behind. I can't catch up. I can't catch up. I can't catch up. You stare at your phone, looking at the time. You're getting close to your deadline, right? You open three tabs. You don't take action. You don't get anything done. You continue to repeat, I'm behind. I'm behind. I'm behind. I'm behind. You open up social media app to try to distract yourself from you being behind, and now you're distracted and you're even more behind. Sound familiar? Something close to that? That's a highly effective strategy for creating stress and paralysis. And it works every single time. Now compare that to someone's momentum strategy. They wake up and they jump out of bed. They drink water. They visualize what winning looks like and feels like today. They move their body with purpose immediately after visualization. They create the energy and the focus. That person didn't wake up more motivated. They just ran a different strategy, right? So here's where this becomes a superpower, right? In neurolinguistic programming, they say if one person can do something consistently, it's a matter of strategy, not luck. So what this means is success is not personal. Power is not random. Confidence is not magic. It's a pattern, it's a formula, it's a repeatable sequence. And if you can identify it, you can install it. You can condition it, right? So here's how you can uncover the strategy behind any emotion or behavioral pattern that you have, right? Number one, in identifying the pattern is you ask yourself, what did I do with my body before I felt anxious, or before I procrastinated, or before I crushed it? What did I do with my body? Then, what words am I saying to myself? What words did I choose in that moment? And then what am I visualizing or what am I focused on in that moment, right? What did I do with my body? What words was I saying? What was I focused on and what did it mean? And you write it down. Don't leave it vague, be extremely specific about what happened in those moments, right? And maybe you do this before bed. You go through and you think about some of the key moments of the day when your energy shifted, when you got tired. What were you doing? What were you thinking? What were you saying? And start to identify the pattern. Start to identify the strategy. And then ask yourself, is it beneficial or is it not? Does it serve me or does it not? Right? And then once you get the pattern, once you see the pattern, you have the power to then disrupt it. Right? If the first step in your sabotage pattern is sitting down and opening Instagram, boom, that's the moment you stand up, you move your body, you blast a new song on your phone or on the speaker, and you speak a new command, right? You don't fight the old strategy, you replace it with a new one. You immediately change it to something that's powerful, something that creates the energy that you're looking for, right? Number three is install the new strategy, right? So you got interrupt and rewire as number two. And the third step is installing the new strategy. And this is where repetition and emotion come in, right? You don't just think about the new behavior, but you live it and you repeat it and you repeat it and you repeat it as much as possible, right? The repetition, along with the energy that's created by it and the focus, installs that into your nervous system. And so now, when that trigger comes, you have a different response. Write it, speak it, practice it. Make it so real in your nervous system that it becomes automatic. Just like when you turn on that song from 25 years ago, your body immediately goes back to the moment that that song meant something to you. Same exact thing, right? Same exact thing. So now I want you to say this with I, I want to say this to you with full respect and compassion, right? But also with the truth. You don't just have depression, you do depression. It's a pattern. Procrastination is a pattern. It's a choice. You focus on what's wrong, you isolate, you breathe shallow, you tell yourself a specific story. It's where your focus is. And the more you run the pattern, the more it becomes familiar, and then even addicting because now you don't know what it feels like not to think that way, not to act that way, not to respond that way, not to move your body that way. And now you've trained yourself, you've conditioned yourself not to know anything different. And that's your reality. But here's the freedom. If depression is a pattern, so is joy. So is confidence. So is focus. So is peace. And once you see the strategy, you can break it, you can replace it, and you can install something different, something better, something that's empowering for you. You have the ability to change the way you think, the way you experience, the way you feel, the way that you see the world. You have that power every single moment of your day. You have that power. I want you to grab your pen and paper. We're gonna do some writing real quick. All right. Your notes app on your phone or wherever you're taking notes. And I want you to answer this question honestly. What's one emotion or behavior or behavioral pattern that you repeat that is not serving you? What's an emotional or behavioral pattern that you repeat that's not serving you? Write that down. So what we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer the strategy behind whatever that emotional or behavioral pattern is, right? So first thing is, what do you focus on? With that behavioral pattern, what is it that you focus on in that pattern? Is it what you're not doing, what someone said, right? What is it that you're focused on when that pattern happens? The next thing is, what's your self-talk? What are you saying to yourself when that trigger happens? What are you saying? I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. I don't have the confidence. I don't have the knowledge. What are you saying to yourself? Write it down. The next thing is, what happens in your body? Do you slump down in your chair? Do you slump down in the couch? Do your facial expressions change? Right? What do you feel in your body? You feel the energy drop? What's the first thing you do physically? Right? Do you go lay down? Again, do you slump those shoulders over? Do you make yourself small? What is it that you do? What is it that you do with your body? How do you move physically when that pattern that doesn't serve you starts? Now, what would make a more powerful, what would a more powerful strategy look like? Same situation, but what would an empowering strategy look like? What's your focus? What focus would empower you? What language would you use? What would you tell yourself? What empowering language would you use in that situation? And then what new movements can you make to create the energy that's necessary to feel great about the experience, to feel excited about the experience, to feel empowered about the experience? What movements can you make that will generate that energy for you? I want you to own that. So as you're going through these experiences in life and you feel these different things come about and you recognize that, oh, I'm not feeling well today. I'm not feeling well in this moment. What's the pattern that's happening? And this is how you can stop reacting and start reprogramming to live differently, to act differently, to see the world differently, to experience things from a different perspective. This is how we change our lives. So now you see it, right? You've exposed the invisible scripts, but exposure is not enough. We have to replace it and rewire them. So it's about taking action on that thing consistently over and over and over and over and over again to ensure that it's ingrained in our nervous system, right? So let's shift gears for a second. Shift gears for a second. How many have ever felt overwhelmed when learning something new? I have. I have, right? Maybe it's a system or trading strategy or something new in your job, right? New job, new process, right? Or even a mindset shift that you've been working on. Or life is just throwing 10 new things at you at once. People aren't overwhelmed because they're not smart. They're overwhelmed because they've never been taught how to organize information, right? So we're going to show you a strategy, right, to solve that. And this is going to link back to those other pieces, right? It's called chunking. Chunking is a concept that means grouping complex information into simpler, manageable units that your brain can process easily, right? Like as we've talked through today, I've given you 3 steps. I've given you 5 steps, right? Groups, chunks, things that are easy to remember, right? So we do this naturally every day, but we don't realize it, right? Take your phone number, for instance, right? Your phone number isn't memorized as a 10-digit number. Your phone number is memorized in 3 chunks. 313-727-7727. 3 chunks. 334. Your to-do list, right? Becomes morning tasks, right? Admin blocks, client work. You break it into chunks. You remember things in groups, right? Grocery shopping. Instead of remember 17 items, right? You group them produce, dairy, snacks, right? Chunking reduces the cognitive load. It makes learning stick, right? So next time you feel like something is too much, it's not your capacity, right? It's the structure, right? So let me give you an image to lock this in, right? Think of learning like water flowing through a pipe, right? The pipe is your nervous system. The water is the new information. Now imagine a little flap inside that controls how fast the water flows, right? You got this pipe, you got this little flap that controls how fast the water flows, right? In electronics, that flap is called a resistor, right? In learning, it's called your mental bandwidth, right? When you don't chunk, it's like cranking open that fire hose, cranking open that pipe, that water hose, and expecting your brain to drink from it, right? And they use that term in business all the time. We're drinking from the fire hose. We're just going to throw all this stuff at you, Good luck figuring it out, right? But when you chunk, now the flow is steady, it's clear, it's useful, right? So let's say you're trying to install a new habit, like a morning routine, right? You're creating a new strategy that you want to install. Okay. Here's how most people do it. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to journal. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to drink water. I'm going to read 10 pages of a book. I'm going to do breath work. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to prep for my day. Mhm. And they wonder why they fall off by day three. Too many pieces, too many decisions creates the decision fatigue. Now let's chunk that, right? Our morning power routine. I'm going to center. I'm going to breathe and journal. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to breathe and journal. Boom. Then to fuel my day, I'm going to drink water and I'm going to move, right? And maybe you break this down. First week, I'm going to implement breathing and journaling. 7 days. Boom, right? Because we want to install this new pattern, repetition. Breathe and journal. Boom. That's my first chunk, first week. Second week, I'm going to breathe and journal because I've installed that now. And I'm going to fuel. I'm going to fuel my day. I'm going to drink water and I'm going to move for 15 minutes. So now my second chunk is adding water and movement. Water in a 15-minute workout. Second week, 7 days in a row. I'm breathing, journaling, fueling, and moving. Third week, I'm going to prime, right? I'm going to add my third chunk in the third week. I'm going to read and I'm going to review my goals. I'm going to prime my brain for where I'm going. I'm going to prime my brain to be empowered by reading. I'm going to visualize my goals to keep me focused on where I'm going and generate the excitement that's necessary. That's three chunks, not seven disjointed actions. Makes it easier to execute, easier to remember, and easier to repeat. We make things difficult. When we make things difficult, we don't take action. So we have to simplify, right? So why does this work? Your working memory, right? Your working memory can only hold 4 to 7 pieces of information at a time, right? Anything more than that, you drop it, unless it's chunked into patterns that your brain already recognizes, right? That's why great teachers, great communicators, great leaders are great chunkers. They translate the complex into simple ideas. And then they create bridges from the known to the unknown, right? And they use analogies and structures and repetition to connect everything, right? Learning is the connection between known and unknown. So when you're teaching something new or learning something new, ask yourself, what's this what's this like that I already understand? You may not get it at first, but continue to ask yourself, what is this like that I already understand? How can I make this connection between two different things that it's similar, right? That one question can collapse months of confusion into moments or days to gain clarity because now you can see the relation and you can start to make those connections, right? So my question for you is, what's one area in your life where you feel overwhelmed or disorganized, right? Today, I want you to write down 5 to 7 steps that you usually do, and then group those into 2 or 3 main chunks, 2 or 3 categories, right? Label those chunks, simplify them, and make them repeatable. How can I simplify this? How can I repeat this? How can I make it so that I can easily repeat this strategy? And this is how you can shift from mental chaos to mental clarity and keep things simple and build the momentum with a new strategy. You don't need more brain power. You need organization of what you already know, right? Chunking gives your mind containers, and the right containers create confidence and clarity and start that feeling of flow, right? So now that you understand chunking, we can use it to unlock emotional patterns, right? You understand chunking. So now those emotional patterns that you have, you can break them up into pieces and you can replace those things that are disempowering with things that are empowering in chunks, in pieces, so that you can change your pattern, change your strategy, change your approach, change your perspective of the world. So, um, I'm going to download, I'm going to drop into the community today a worksheet that is a emotional strategy rewire worksheet, right? And because we've just gone deep in the idea that emotions aren't accidents, right? They're results of patterns and strategies, right? If you can build a strategy for overwhelm and procrastination, you can absolutely build a strategy for clarity, power, and momentum. Okay. And so this worksheet is going to walk you through those steps. Okay. Gonna be a sheet you can download and you can walk through that and you can wash, rinse, and repeat, right? As you create new strategies in your life and you identify the old strategies that aren't empowering, you can recreate them with empowering strategies so that you can implement these things daily, right? But this worksheet, what it's going to go through is a few steps, right? And the first step is what's the emotional state that shows up the most and slows you down, right? Is it overwhelm? Is it self-doubt? Is it procrastination? Is it frustration? Right? What's the strategy that slows you down? And then the second step is reverse engineering that strategy. And so you're going to ask yourself, what am I usually thinking about when I feel that way? What is my body doing? What is my posture? What is my breathing? What is the energy that I have or that I feel? Right? And what are the exact words or phrases that I say to myself? That's step two, reverse engineering that strategy that's not empowering. Step number three is flipping the switch, right? What's your ideal emotional state, right? What's the ideal emotional state that you want to step into more often? Confidence, focus, power, drive, calm. And so you're going to ask yourself, what would I need to focus on to feel that way. If I was going to feel that way, what would I need to focus on? How would I need to be sitting? How would I need to be breathing? Or how would I need to be standing? How do I need to be moving my body? And what language would I be using in my self-talk as I'm moving my body this way? Right? And so you're going to walk through this step or these steps in creating new strategies for your life. Right? So that's what that worksheet's going to be. Okay. The moment, the moment I realized that I can design my emotional experience, everything changed. Everything changed. So I realized I had control over how I felt. And I didn't have to allow anybody else to control that. I didn't have to give my power away to someone else based on how they thought, how they saw the world, how they chose to speak. I had control over that. And now so do you. So from now on, you don't have to just react to life. You can start to lead yourself through it. You can start to shift your perspective of the world in a way that isn't overwhelming. You can chunk it, you can break it down into actionable steps that you repeat daily, that you install into your nervous system so that you actually create actionable change and not just talk about it. So sit up tall, shoulders back, take a deep breath in. Here's what I want you to remember. You are not your past patterns. You're not your reactions. You're not your self-doubt, or you're overthinking. You're not those things. You're the architect of your emotional life. This week, I really want us to focus on acting like we're the architect. Most people think emotions are random, but everything you feel is following a script, one you've been rehearsing for years. So if you've been practicing anxiety, it's time to rehearse certainty. If you've been rehearsing self-sabotage, it's time to script self-leadership. Let's lock in to this power reframe. If if you can feel stuck, you can feel powerful. If you can get overwhelmed, you can get focused. If you've practiced doubt, you can practice drive. Sit up tall, say this with me. I am the author of my strategy. I rewire my patterns. I rise by design. I am the author of my strategy. I rewire my patterns. I rise by design. You don't need more time. You need more alignment. You don't need more time. You need more alignment. So this week, this week, your homework is simple. You're going to complete that strategy rewire worksheet that I added to the community, right? That folks that are watching this on replay, you can download this um, below the video. But identify the strategy, re-engineer it, reverse engineer it, replace it. That's our focus for this week. That's your homework. Practice it, own it, live it. That's Mindset Monday, good people. Floor is open. Thoughts, feedback, questions. Joy,
What
what's
up, though?
good morning?
So, my job consists on 80% of memory for me to do my job with over 30 workflows. Mm. And so I know I've been telling y'all about, the changes I've been going through, but good thing I voiced my concerns to higher management. My request was granted. I'm back with my previous supervisor, and it was some things the other supervisor failed to do that she had to take charge of, which she was disappointed, which was my performance review he didn't do. And so she said, I'm just going to go off from the joy that I know. And it was crazy to hear this. And it's something that you told me before. But basically, she said, Joy, I just want to apologize for putting you in that situation. But I'm proud of you. And I was like, okay, what did I do for to make you proud? She said, no matter the situation that you put in, you don't never take things personal. You don't never get upset. You don't yell or scream. You just work through it and find a way. And basically the health plan is pleased with me. They don't want me to go nowhere because I'm fixing things. And during that time of uncertainty, I couldn't trade. I could not trade. And I don't trade on bad days. I don't trade on days where I'm overthinking. I don't trade on days when I'm super sleepy. And for the past couple of months, I just I just kept the same plays running. And like you said, I felt that depression coming because I allowed the overthinking to take control of me. And I didn't think of it like that. I just thought I was just functional with mine because it's like I feel I used to have more down days and now I'm starting to have more up days and I didn't know what it felt like. But in that explanation I see, you know, basically I was on the right path. But I was allowing my down days to more so take control of me because I was just tired. But now, since things are getting good, things are becoming better. I'm having better guidance in that area. I've been getting back to making sure that what my goal is is to be out of that place next year. I mean, um, so I can't wait to use this guide because half the year is gone in my plan. Because to me, it's like they ruined my plan. I think that's what I was focused on. I was focused on because you don't have control, but in my mind I tell myself you can't get mad at things that you're not controlled at. You can't stay mad at things that you're not controlled with. And that was my energy to push through it. But
Mhm.
it was like once she said that to me, it took all the it was like a compression sock. And I felt the relief like, okay, I am doing something good. And I guess maybe it was the confirmation that I am doing something good. So I was so excited this weekend, had family in, and then today and tomorrow I get time to decompress. And so yesterday I was just sitting thinking of how I was going to start redoing my week to come with my charts, with my work, with my busy lifestyle.
Mm.
And I can't wait to get to the worksheet.
Let's go, man. Hey, drop some sevens in the chat for joy, right? And you mentioned something, right? You said you started having more good days than bad days,
Yeah.
right? That's the process of growth, man. You're seeing that shift. You're going step by step, step by step, and you're making the progress. It's not all going to happen overnight. It's not all going to be great days, but you learn from the down days and you have more good days than bad days. That's the shift. That's the shift.
And the other thing was, I remember a long time ago on Mindset Monday, it was like probably about the first year. I remember you saying, you know, we know some people have been taught to look at the big picture, but break that picture down. And I think what happened was I started focusing on that big picture. They're rushing to get there again. And I recognized that. And I said, let me break these pictures down to pixels.
Bingo, bingo, right? I love it. I love it, man. Kudos to you, Joy. Kudos to you, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome. And kudos on making those shifts in the workplace and being recognized for the work that you're doing. I love it. That's awesome. That's what it's about, good people. Progress. Progress. Yes, we desire perfection, but perfection is growth. Perfection is taking steps. Perfection is learning through the experience. That's perfection. Anybody else got any thoughts, feedback, questions?
Morning, Ryan. Morning, everybody.
Donette, good morning.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
So, one of the things that I thank you for today, first of all, and one of the things that struck me is when you stated lead yourself through life, um, script yourself leadership. One of the things that in my trading journey, I realized that I would feel a lot of my stuff in my stomach, and especially now in the mornings, I would get up and really kind of work on myself just to calm myself down. And it's true what you've mentioned here. Your emotional state is not a condition, it's a choice. And you have to move your body, you have to do things to really feel those outcomes. And now when I go to my charts, if I don't do like my morning routine, I feel out of sorts when I go to my charts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just that circadian rhythm of just getting up, getting that sun, just I'm feeling much calmer. And I'm trying to meditate now to kind of like get rid of those things that slip up every now and then. And when you feel it, it's like, oh. So
Yeah,
those patterns, it was really unique to kind of focus on just that activity that you stated. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And
Right?
one of the other things is that I noticed that, I can do a lot for other people, my kids, my husband, and they could be the best success. But when it comes to doing stuff for myself, it's like double hard.
Uh-huh.
And just working through getting to stuff. Like my kids are very creative and they force me to like, I'm like, you guys are gonna be able to help me with this. They're like, no, you can do it. And I'm like, why did I have kids then? And they have these talents. They're like, no, you can do it, mom. I'm like, wow. So
Mm-hmm.
just being able to do things on your own just brings another level of, I don't want to say freedom, but
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's freedom, it's confidence,
Mhm.
it's power. That's what it is. You and feel comfortable labeling it that because that's what it is. And I was just having this conversation this weekend, man. But those moments that are uncomfortable for us, those spaces that are uncomfortable for us, doing those things on our own, challenging ourselves with these new skills and these new opportunities and these new experiences. Those moments are the ones that we have to press into because that's where you're really gonna grow. You're really gonna identify things about yourself that's gonna grow you in a whole new way. That's powerful. So kudos to you, Donna, for pressing into those. Kudos to your kids for pushing you to press into those, right? Because you can. You can do them. You can conquer them. And that's freedom. That's power. Drop some sevens in the chat for that, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. You've got it, man. You've got it. Man. Anybody else? Thoughts, feedback, questions?
Let's get one more, guys. Come on.
It's okay if it's not. Oh, good. Good people. Listen, man. Listen. You have the power. You have the power. You have the ability to change your perspective of the world. You have your ability to change your strategy. Let's take that power back and let's use it. That's my segment of good people. You all have a phenomenal Monday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. Peace.
Thanks, Sharon. Have a great day.